Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Tick Syndicate. We'll be doing another Motivewave 7 tutorial here tonight. Uh, this is the second video in a series of Motivewave tutorials that I'll be doing. And let's just jump right in. So we are looking at creating a DOM that resembles the utility and how the JigSaw DOM operates. I've used both the Motivewave Jigsaw and JigSaw DOMs. I prefer the Motivewave DOM for various reasons. It's a little bit easier to set up. The icons are more descriptive. JigSaw DOM's great, but I just tend to prefer the Motivewave DOM. So no big issue if you prefer the Jigsaw DOM, but let's go ahead and dive in. Let's see, share desktop. All right. So here I've got my workspace open. It's defaulting to an open ES 1 minute chart. We're not going to be using charts for this. So up here in the top left corner, hit that plus sign. Let's create a DOM. And then I use the DOM for execution on ES, but I primarily use the DOM and I don't lean too heavily on charts for treasuries. And I read the order flow on treasuries. So let's go ahead and use ZN as our example. All right, so this is the default. Actually, let me double check that this is the default layout. Apply default. Yeah, this is the default layout for the Motivewave DOM. If your columns look a little bit different, don't freak out. We can modify which columns are showing by going to the top right corner and this plus sign right here. But so what we've got is we've got P&L as the first column. We've got bid or bid limit by limit orders here on the left, here in the blue. We've got the price column. We've got the ask column or sell limit orders. And then we've got your working orders column. So if you're to place an order, sell limit order, DOM's locked. If you got a sell limit order there, I'm in a demo account, so I can't press anything, but this is where your sell limits would go and your orders would show up here. And then we've got a volume column. If you're missing any of these, you can add what I have selected up here using that plus sign. So let's go ahead and just start with some organization. What I like to do is I like to have my P&L, if you choose to use that, as well as my orders over here on the left. And then I like to have bid and ask here to the right of price. Excuse me. And then I'm going to take volume and drag that to the left of price. So now we've got a volume profile for the current session. It's Globex right now, Sunday night. So pretty thin activity, not a lot of volume exchanged so far. So now we've got this, our core layout set up where we're showing passive buy and sell orders, price, and volume. Let's go ahead and go to that add icon, and let's add at ask and at bid. What this does is it shows you markets or orders that are executing. So we just had 314 contracts sell into the bid right here. And we have had a total of 1,900 contracts traded at this price. So let's go ahead and reorganize this. Also, everything is drag and drop if you have columns enabled. If you do not, you can disable columns by going to DOM settings, this little gear icon up here. And where is it? Show header. You can unselect that. But if you unselect the header, you'll lose your ability to resize and move columns around. So I leave that on. So let's reorganize this. Let's move at ask here to the middle, and let's add at bid over here to the middle as well. So now we're able to see sell orders. So we've had 11 contracts now sell into the bid here at 09. And now we've got 220 orders buying into the ask here at 095 or 9.5. All right, so now we're starting to look a little bit more like what Jigsaw displays, but let's go ahead and add pulling and stacking. So bid delta, the nomenclature is a little bit different. Instead of just like pulling and stacking on the bid, pulling and stacking on the ask, Motivewave's nomenclature uses bid delta and ask delta. So bid delta, let's bring that in. And I'm going to drag bid delta. I like to put that on the left of the bid so that I can see how many resting buy orders are sitting here. And then I can see how that changed. And then let's go ahead and add ask delta as well. And we're going to keep that here. So now we're able to see price, pulling and stacking at price, passive buy orders, executed orders on the bid, executed orders on the ask, passive sell orders, and then pulling and stacking here on uh, the ask. So another thing I like to do is I like to change the color coding of the pulling and stacking so that I can see if there's a lot of orders being pulled on bid or ask, so that can be indicative of a breakout sometimes. So to do that, we're going to click that gear icon on our DOM. We're going to go to bid ask delta. And let's see. Let's unselect defaults. So for ask stack text, I like to have that highlighted as or color coded as red, and ask pull color coded as bright green. Largely because if people are pulling their orders off of the ask, that's a signal of weakness tentatively, depending on what's going on. Nothing is quite as formulaic as we'd like it to be, but if you have if you're looking for a bounce at a particular level, pulling on the ask order, let's say 300, 450 orders pull off the ask as buyers start getting aggressive, that can be a pretty good indication. So I like to use these colors to kind of make it a little bit easier to scan and read. And also true with stacking on the ask, that could be indicative of sellers showing intent to push through a core level. So I keep that red. Now let's do that on the bid as well. So bid stack, that is more of buyers are coming to market. So I'm going to make that green. Bid pull is buyers, passive buyers leaving the market and the bid getting weaker. I'm going to make that red. Go ahead and apply, and I'm going to click default, and I'm going to save this as my default. You'll see why here in a second. So now we have a DOM that we can use that is similar in layout to the JigSaw DOM. Now, I also like to scan multiple markets. So I mostly trade the UB, the Ultra Bond. So let's go ahead and create a second DOM. UB, UBH. There we go. And now I'm going to click this tab, drag this to the right. Oh, didn't do that right. Snap to grid. There we go. So now we've got two DOMs side by side. And what I'm going to do is actually it looks like the defaults were applied already. So that's good. So we didn't have to change any of the layouts. Okay. Now let's go ahead and add one more because I also like to monitor CF, the 5-year treasury. Or you could do ZB. It doesn't really matter. Or you could do, if you're mostly trading order flow on indices, you can add YM, NQ, and ES. There we go. So a lot of times these markets will move in sync with one another. If one is testing the highs of a profile, ZN may follow along while UB may be lagging behind by like 2 or 3 ticks. It's just a good indicator to just scan multiple markets. Now, I'm intentionally getting these DOMs disoriented to show you that there's a snap feature where you can recenter all your DOMs. That's what this crosshair icon is that I'm hovering over on each of my DOMs. When you click that, it'll recenter your DOMs across your layout. So now we're able to kind of keep that current price line equal across our DOM layout. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This is how you can trade it. You can play around with kind of like the color codings here and the price column. There's a lot of options you can play around with. This is primarily what I use. I'm not going to teach you how to mess around with the color coding. I'm going to leave that up to you to decide. But yeah, this is just kind of a bare bones jigsaw replication. All right, cool. Hope that was helpful. See ya.